Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Nong yalam kaliang persya hapo yang dorbar thawan kejela Dr. Mukul sangma ula ajimut dia ke Sorkar Balei kamle yaki Skul deficit kumbale yaki Skul Sorkar kenang bagi no hikai deficit kin yo lang keju ke Jingmyntoi kum kino hikai Skul Sorkar haba kilang syong thai ula nuksa bagi don kino hikai primary haki Skul deficit kibla syong thai hendai kim yo keju ke Jingmyntoi kum kino hikai Sorkar kum ta ula khot dia ke Sorkar bakan khot dia ke Jinglang banikran halor kani bat nak liang jung u berkekin huan liang persyaru kin kloi banikran lang ya kani ke Jingkran Mukul ulakran halor ke Jingkeli belawan ra adu Dr. Mizanur Rahman Kazi halor kumno ke Sorkar kelale namar ke Jingslam ban siu tulop ikino hikai ha kejela ke balong ha kedorbar mangtingka ke belayad arsni minta ha ke bede bagi ke Jingkran Dr. Mukul menteri rang ba kejela ukan rat sangma ula jawab bagi ke Skul deficit ke Sorkar kala ban shim ki sienjam hadian nak benta ke Jingrab namar minta kidang pendet jingmut yaki Skul ad hoc dak bepenpau baka puli puthi kalong ke bae hadu kata-kata ula penpau baka Sorkar kan sepet benya bar ke kwa menyerap ya baro hendai ya minta kamlong ke besuk ban shim ya kerai namar baman kerai don kam ya ke platingka ke babyang shu uloong baka structure pay framework kamut baka Sorkar ke siu tulop ya baro kino hikai ha kejela hendai ke syuerap yaki Skul ban siu tulop kino hikai bat ong baka jing siu ke longkat kum ke jinawa ke jongki ula ong baka Sorkar ke le keren syai bat kino hikai halor ke rukam siu tulop hashwa ban shim ya kani kerai.
Mr. Speaker, sir, now this issue related to the salary of the teachers. There's quite a substantial disparity in respect of the salary which are being paid to different categories of teachers. Now, this issue has been a matter of concern, and it is only appropriate that we must take cognizance of this huge disparity and do justice to those categories of teachers who are being paid abysmally low. So, I have not seen government taking steps to address this issue. So, may I, therefore, through you, Mr. Speaker, sir, get a categorical response of the government in this regard. In view of this reply, then what will be the total quantum of amount that is projected to be spent for this lower primary, upper primary categories and the other categories in terms of the annual expenditure that is projected?
Sir, I think it's important to understand, and of course Honorable LO will be quite aware about that. But just for the knowledge of the House, as correctly mentioned by our Education Minister, that there are different categories of schools. That's the most complicated aspect of the education system in Meghalaya. And if you look at this whole aspect, a lot of times in the past we have heard that why hasn't government paid the salary of ad hoc teachers? Why hasn't government paid the salary of, say a deficit school teacher or a college? Sir, we have to understand that there is government school and there is what we call not a non-government but not a government, a private school. The ad hocs and the deficits are actually privately owned or community owned or mission owned. They are not owned by government, sir, most of them, 90% plus. And when you look at these categories of schools which are not owned by government, they are owned by the private managing committee. So when you talk of the ad hoc schools, they are not government schools. So they are, with due respect, sir, say run by you, sir. For example, Mr. Thomas, school. And you are the managing committee. Government gives a grant. So all these years we've been giving what we call ad hoc grant to your school because you could not run it. So in the last 20, 30, 40 years, the consecutive government started giving ad hoc grant to somebody, you pay your salaries. This grant took a structure of salaries after 10 years, 15 years, the nomenclature changed. Then the expectation happened that now this school that belongs to Mr. Thomas, you see, but government just has to pay the salary. We are paying grant and aid to you. We don't paying salary to you. But in 40 years time, the teachers then and the society at large said that no, this teacher's salary of this ad hoc school, government is not paying. So, sir, this narrative that has come up, for whatever reason, sir, has led to this kind of confusion today. So let's be very clear. Government schools is government direct responsibility. Ad hoc schools and deficit schools, SSA also is government's responsibility. But ad hoc schools are run by private sector. So this has to be very, very clear, sir. What we are doing today is, in spite of the fact that this is being run by private sector, not owned by government, we realize the pain of the teachers. The teacher who is getting the ad hoc grant, we increase the grant per teacher to 18,000, example. Now, so what happens is, if you have been working for 30 years, you will also get 18,000. I have been working for 1 year, I will also get 18,000. The ad hoc teachers and the SSA teachers were stuck with a specific pay, no matter how experienced they were. And hence now, this is important, sir, to understand. Now what we have done is we have created one category for as many as possible. Sir, the minister has already explained to you the number of teachers we have, different teachers. We have 55,000 teachers, sir. So just to give an example to you, Tripura, which has got about 10 lakh population more than us, has got 40,000 teachers. We have 55,000 teachers. They have 4,000 schools. We have 14,000 schools. So this is the comparison and the fact that we have so many categories of schools, so many categories of teachers, and we realize that government has to step in and take a decisive step to somehow give structure to this, and that's what we're doing. To answer to the question of the LO, I don't have the exact number. I mean, Minister will first have the exact number, but I can give you a rough estimate that we used to spend approximately 600 crores for SSA and for ad hoc teachers in the LP UP category. And today, with this decision that we took, where now a structured pay will come in, the experience minister read out that if you are 0 to 5 years experience, you'll get 21,000 something. If your experience is above 25 years, then you'll get about 28,000. So we are giving that seniority also thing. We are giving an increment of 3%, is it? Yeah. 3% increment annually to every teacher. So they know that they have got growth happening every year. So we are going to be spending approximately 800 crores plus now. So there's an addition of about 200 plus crores. If Honorable Minister has the exact number, then he can also say it. But I roughly remember, sir, about 815 or 16 crores is what's going to come up. So you can say a net impact of 200 plus minus crores will be there. But this decision will lead to a kind of a structured pay system and a framework, and more importantly, a system which will give a security and safety to the teachers, give increment to them, and most importantly, sir, that will ensure that there is growth and they can see increments coming up in the future. So it's a very, very tough decision, a very highly financially implicable decision, but a decision in the right direction which will lead to a stabilization of the education system to a large extent. And 23,007 teachers, if I'm not wrong, 23,007 teachers will be impacted because of this decision.
Mr. Speaker, sir, there is some deviation from the original, how the whole educational, rather the whole effort of the community to establish educational institution at the primary level and upper primary level and secondary level, the overall involvement of the community in assuming this responsibility in absence of government initiative in the beginning. So there are two categories when we talk about non-government schools. One is which is established by the communities coming together in absence of government initiative. That is how every institutions have been established, first in the form of venture, then afterwards grant in aid, then afterwards deficit, then afterwards provincialization. That is how it has evolved over the years. Now, if we club other private institutions where we have individual your academicians who are coming together and establishing private schools. You have number of private schools coming up in different areas, whether it is in Tura, Williamnagar, even in the rural areas. Now, we have to segregate this part from the institutions which were established collectively by the community prior to government's initiative. Now, as they have evolved over the years, now how do we take cognizance of this contribution and somehow ensure that what is now in deficit pattern is ultimately converted into a government, so that at least teachers end up getting the same benefit which is provided to the teachers who retire from government schools. Now, primary schools, there are a number of schools which are in deficit. Now, these teachers retire and they don't get the retirement benefit. So, these are areas of concern. Now, this granite salary, if we say salary, then that means we are assuming that we are the employer. That's why we have made it a point earlier also that when we extend this support to the managing committee, which is drawn from the communities, then we only put a rider that as we provide this grant in aid or assistance, minimum salary should be ensured this much. Over and above that, how much they top up is up to them. So this is how we have managed. And if we deviate from this, we're gonna have serious problem in future, because then you are owning all the teachers of even those which are yet to be provincialized. So I think I would request the Honorable Chief Minister to have certain discussion on this issue together.
No, what is the question, please?
I'm submitting this suggestion. I would ask the government to have a considered discussion on this issue, maybe in his chamber or wherever. We will be there, because this is going haywire.
Sir, the concerns of the LO, since he is not aware of the entire package. So number one, it's not salary. That's why if you notice, sir, I hesitated when I was speaking, when I talked about the pay structure. So we were very, very clear that the words we will use is pay framework, a structured pay framework. So the word salary does not come into the language, number one. Number two, sir, we are not here talking about all schools that are private or community run. The schools that are receiving ad hoc grant as of now, who are receiving ad hoc grant, some are community, some are individual, private based. For whatever reason, in the past 40 years, different governments have started giving grant in aid to different ones, which came to be known as ad hoc grant, at least one of the grants. And here we are trying to resolve the ad hoc group. So this ad hoc, there are some schools which are community run, I mentioned that, some are private run, some are mission run. What we are doing, sir, is that since they have formed an umbrella organization, they are part of one category of ad hoc grant teachers, or ad hoc teachers they call themselves. Of course, they have got 4 or 5 mini committees also, and groups under them. But I think it's a FASCOM, I think, is the umbrella organization. And they are the organizations with whom we've been talking. So they are, yes, correctly mentioned. Some are owned privately, some are owned by community and the thing. But what we are doing, sir, we are bringing a structured pay for these teachers as per their demand. So this is something they have demanded. Now, when we move forward with this, sir, we are not here to take over the schools. We are not here. And we have very clearly discussed with the teachers that this is the structure we're going to give you. If you're going to expect that it's going to be government scale, it's not going to happen. But we are going to give you increments at this level. The Commissioner Secretary and Education Minister must have sat maybe more than 7-8 times with them. We had engagement with them at multiple levels. Negotiation took place, came back to us. We went back to the negotiation table with them. So this was a long drawn exercise with the stakeholders themselves, which is the ad hoc school teachers. So we are here to resolve this ad hoc school teachers issue, which is about 7,000 numbers, sir, plus minus, and the rest are the SSS school teachers. So this is what we are trying to resolve here, sir. Deficit, of course, is the next step. We are working and seeing if there's a possibility. It's not easy, sir. Education system is super complicated. We are examining, sir. We would like to help everyone. But it's not an easy decision, because every decision has got financial and legal implications for us. So therefore, we were very clear and we said we are going to resolve right now this ad hoc and the issues that are there with SSA. So we are very, very confined to these two categories, and this is what we're going to work on. And as I said, the aspect of salary will not be there. So we will share with the Honorable LO as desired by him. I think it's a positive step that the government shares this information and discusses and informs them in detail what government is planning to do. And they can be obviously privy to that because the teachers already know about it. I don't see any reason why we cannot share. So we will share that information, sir, and I'm sure that they'll be quite satisfied and happy because the teachers, small issues here and there were there, but we have ironed them out. But the teachers themselves had, as I said, have accepted this, and as I said, it's resolving most of the issues that the ad hoc teachers and the SSAs have had, sir. So it's been a long drawn exercise, not something we decided in 1 week. For the last 1 year, this exercise has been going on, sir.